here's a glance at the Arteta project since he was appointed Arsenal manager back in December 2019. They won the FA Cup in 2020. That was Arteta's first season in charge. They've since been twice the Premier League runners-up. They've reached the Champions League semi-final this season for the first time since 2019, the third in club history. And along the way, they've also won 2 Community Shields. Disappointment tonight, though, in Paris. Let's hear from the Gunners manager.
The journey ends here tonight. What are your initial thoughts after that?
Well, first of all, congratulate PSG for reaching the final. The assessment, I will make it when I'm a little bit cooler, but the feedback that I got straight away from their bench is that we were much better than them. When you look at the 2 games, who has been their best player on the pitch, has been their goalkeeper. He's made a difference for them in the tie. And I think we were very close, much closer than our results showed. But unfortunately, we are out. I'm very proud of the players, what we've done today, the way we started, how we handled the pressure, the amount of pressure. After 20 minutes, it should be 3-0. But, yeah, there is something extra that you need in the competition to go your way, and it didn't.
Are you happy, or have you seen enough progress with your team this season?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think there's been a better team in the competition so far, what I've seen. But we are out tonight. We deserve much more, I think, in both games. But this competition is about the boxes, and in the boxes there are normally the strikers most of the time and a goalkeeper, and he was the best player in both games.
Ultimately, what do you want to do over the summer to make changes or add to get further?
I'm so proud of the boys and what they deserve a lot of credit for what they're doing in the context and the situation, and with the amount of injuries. We have arrived here probably in the worst state that you can arrive as a team. You have to get here with everybody fit, available, with a lot of minutes, with rest, like they had a week. We come here in a completely different context and still do that. So that gives me a lot of positivity for the future. But tonight I'm very upset.
And Mikel, thank you for talking to us anyway.
Well, he's trying to find the positives, isn't he? But to say there that they've been the best team in the Champions League this season, how do you feel about that, Nico?
Obviously, I disagree. He can believe what he wants to believe. His team made a Champions League semi-final. That's a lot of credit to that, because I don't think too many people had Arsenal getting to this stage and playing that the way they played to get here. I think that deserves a lot of credit, and it's valiant from Arsenal. Now, again, we said it already how many times since yesterday and today. The better team doesn't always win. It's about taking care of business. Arsenal couldn't take care of business today. Yeah, the goalkeeper is world-class. It's almost like you expect him to have that type of performances with the performances that he had. You had to beat the unbeatable goalkeeper to get to the Champions League final, and you couldn't. He kept you at bay. To me, I think it's a little bit more optimistic than the story shows. I do think that they showed a lot of respect in the first leg, and that was a major factor today, because PSG walked in here with a advantage, and they were able to play with that advantage, suffer a little bit in the first 20 minutes, and then get the goal that essentially took Arsenal out of this tie.
Yeah,
I disagree. Sorry, Pop. I disagree that they're the best team in the tournament. I know he plays at normally the same time that the other teams play, so it's probably difficult for him to watch the game.
He knows they're not the best team.
Or maybe
he knows they're not the best team.
Maybe too much wine after the games. I don't know, but he's not the best team. I do agree with what he said. With in this competition, you have to be better in both boxes. And Nigel looked at it and said, "Well, what about your box? What about your strikers?" Because he mentioned strikers and goalkeepers, and he gives Donnarumma a compliment, which I think is great, and it's normal. We all have eyes. We saw the performances he had against Liverpool, and then again tonight. But what about your box when your wingers are putting balls across the box? When you have 6 corners, when you have these moments where the strikers, there is no striker, and then the striker you have is Kai Havertz, who's not really a striker, right? What about those moments? So I think he's well aware. He sees it pretty clear. He talks a little bit also about mentality of the team. But mentality is a very important thing in football, but it can only get you so far. You still need the pieces to do that. And I think they're 1 or 2 pieces away from competing with some of the best teams in the Champions League.
But he's not owning it. Own it. You say it's about boxes, and Donnarumma was the best player both ties. Like you said, what about you addressing your team? This ain't about Donnarumma.
Yeah, but what's he going to say, Nigel? Say, yeah, well, we didn't have...
Well, if you're not going to say anything, then don't say anything at all. Like, there's an element of manager being honest. For me, be honest in what you see. We've seen Carlo Ancelotti, when Real Madrid get slapped around and this and that, Carlo Ancelotti will give you a true reflection of what he sees. We weren't good enough, and he's honestly like, you know what, we trust him there. But he's trying to portray it as something that we haven't seen, like it's something completely different. Clearly, you could see the emotions in his interview and this and that. But tell the truth, like, you have no cutting edge. You didn't have a cutting edge. Don't just talk about Donnarumma because you lost.
You want the truth in sports journalism?
Huh?
No. You want the truth in sports journalism?
You do want a bit of it. You've got to give a balance to it, though, because at the end of the day, it looks like right now, it looks like you're not being honest with yourself. You're not taking accountability as a manager.
Very hard from the elimination. He said, I'll give you my assessment when I cool down, and I get it. It's a first big elimination in Champions League.
You're a manager.
I get it.
Control your emotions. He's had time to settle down for that interview. This is what comes with it. You want to be an Arsenal manager? Deal with it. Find a way to handle it.
I take this with a grain of salt because he's coming fresh off the pitch, all the emotions, and he knows that they're
because he knows what's coming.
Team. Right.
He knows what's coming. He knows people are going to say to him again, no cutting edge for Arsenal, no teeth in the final third.
Well, what is
They're all doing long throws to try and get a goal and set pieces.
Well, how do you reflect on their season now, having known this? Are you saying that he knows what's coming with all the criticism and the same storylines, the striker,
100%.
the lack of teeth?
What can you... I mean, there's nothing he can do. I already said it, that next year, I believe he's under pressure. This summer for Arsenal is massive. I'm not saying sack Arteta by any means at all. I know he's going to be there next year. But what he has to understand, and I'm sure he knows and he's aware of it, is he's under pressure next year. Because it's another trophyless season. We talk about progression, but you have to win something. Because other teams around you are winning. Newcastle won the League's Cup at least, and that's a big club that's won something, pushing for European places. Next year, this summer is a massive, massive transfer window for him, for them to address what he feels he needs to address as the manager. And then they have to push to try and win a Premier League title next year and do even better in the Champions League.
Don't you think the way that he's speaking right now, that almost seems to us like a lie that he's telling himself to convince himself that they were the better team? It makes the situation worse instead of having some self-criticism saying we weren't good on the day, we didn't finish our chances. The goalkeeper, sure, was a man of the match, but maybe we should have had a little bit more cutting edge to be able to turn this tie around, and we have to improve and build on this for next season because I know that we're Arsenal and the pressure's on and we have to deliver.
You just answered it of how he should have exactly answered it. Talk about your team. Donnarumma, world-class goalkeeper, he showed it today. But we need to do better. We need to have found a way to break him down and score a goal. People look at it like that and say, yeah. But
this
then
is typical of the English press.
The English now.
English press.
The English now.
English press. Arsenal play in the Premier League, right? Last I checked. English press on Arteta, right? Hansi Flick yesterday got away with absolute murder on his hands. He came out.
Well, he didn't with you.
Game out. Didn't put his hand up at all, said it was the referee's fault, which was ludicrous because I thought the game was refereed okay. There was a couple moments, but it happened for both teams.
Yeah, but we criticized him as well.
No, you guys said, you two said, that's just the way they play.
No, I didn't. We criticised Hansi Flick for saying that, for trying to blame referees. We said that's stupid and naive of him.
Hansi Flick had blood.
We didn't give him no. We didn't give him a free pass.
His hands full of blood yesterday.
We did not give him a free pass.
In Spain, there's a scapegoat narrative towards the referee. Refereeing in Spain is so bad that it's when you lose, it's easy to point at the referees. Or when Barcelona wins, it's easy for Real Madrid fans to point at the referees. So at the end of the day, the refs can never win. So you're eliminated. An easy way to blame in Spain is a ref, and I think within the context of Spain,
that's even worse.
They do
we on the show yesterday, we let Hansi Flick get away with murder.
We did not let him get away with murder.
And we didn't say nothing. Arteta, he says two things, you guys jump all over.
That's not true, because the moment we heard Hansi Flick speaking about the refs, I went, whoa. That's weak. I said it right here on the show, sitting right here.
Yeah, but also, Hansi Flick didn't say that they were the best team in the tournament. He didn't come out and say, we're the best team in the tournament, we were the better team over 2 legs, their goalkeeper was fantastic.
He said worse. Oh, the referees did.
He said we're going to come back next year, we're going to do better, and, he's proud of his boys, and he's right. But come on, man, to say you're the best team and then to have a slight, the goalkeeper was their best player in both legs and all that.
He made Arsenal sound like they were really hard done by.
And then not only that,
I don't think that's the complete truth.
An argument that works against you, because he said on both boxes, that's where games are won and lost.
Yes.
And the attackers and the goalkeepers. And he mentioned the other team's goalkeeper when you had an opportunity in the winter to sign a striker that could possibly make the difference.
Here's a better one. What about the first leg when Martinelli had the one-on-one? How about those boxes and when it matters, right? And then who else had there was another player who had a one-on-one in the first leg as well. I can't remember his name. I can't remember what player it was, sorry. But he had a one-on-one situation as well. So how about you bring up that situation about your own team, Trossard, about your own team taking their chances
Maybe that's what he's
in the
saying,
boxes.
that we didn't take our chances
No,
in the
he
box.
didn't say that.
It didn't sound like it.
He didn't. It was a bit of a backhanded compliment to Donnarumma.